What's up guys, JTM Off-Road here. Today's video, we are on the second day of the Avalanche lift. Alrighty, so where we left off, we took a lot of the stuff that was on the front off. We got the tie rods, inners and outers changed. I was working on getting the upper control arms out, which were a bit of a pain because the bolts were so galled on that I was only able to get actually one out without cutting it. All the other three ones I have to cut. So I'm gonna get back to that here in a minute. The torsion keys, I still have to cut those off, but I did happen to order some through the dealer, which are actually cheaper than Advanced. The ones through the dealer are like $44 list price each, and through Advanced for a set of Moog ones, they're $280. I have to wait a little bit, so I'm not going to get this done in the time frame that I wanted, but I'm going to save myself, pretty much like close to $200 when it's all said and done. So it's worth the wait to spend a little less. As far as this video goes, we should be able to start cutting the front piece of the frame out and pull the diff, start working on the new diff that's going to go in, and hopefully start bolting some stuff back in today. I'm going to cut the control arms off. I'm not going to video that, but once that's done, we'll just jump right into cutting the frame, getting the differential out. Making progress. Got the front diff out. I was just kind of checking things out because I've had some wobbling up front. I can't remember if this axle, the front axle, moves while you're driving with the input from the front drive shaft, but if it does, I've been having some vibration and some wobbling, and this might be it. You can see I'm kind of like slowly trying to turn it, and it catches every once in a while. So I never changed diff fluid in this, so I don't know if anybody ever did. So I don't know if maybe something's just really worn out, or the bearings are bad, or what. I'm not sure how this works. If I turn this faster, that front side moves, but if I turn this slow, that doesn't move at all. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but that's the old one. This is the one we're putting in with the 410 gears. So this one, much better movement in there, much more free, no issues. And this side doesn't have any problem turning if I turn it slow. I guess maybe it's just something how it works, I don't know. Differentials, they confuse me. There's just magic inside. That's, as far as I'm concerned, how they work. But anyway, this is the new one we're going to put in. So this is the one we're going to have to, I think it's the upper one that we cut off. So I'm going to double check. We'll go ahead and cut this off and start, going with the rest of it. So as far as getting all this stuff out, it wasn't too terrible. There's a vent line that you're going to have to pull off, and then the electrical connectors once you get some access to it. But it really wasn't terrible. I mean, it's taken me some time, especially dealing with the rust. But I mean, if you're okay with cutting and stuff, it's not terrible. So we got all that out. All right, so it is this mount. We're gonna go ahead and cut this mount off on this side. Not sure how much I'm supposed to grind down, but you're supposed to grind down these cooling fins to allow clearance in the frame. So I'm just gonna go off of what the video has for now, and then test fit and see how it goes. So all right, so let's go ahead and get at it. Ready, so I got this cut off, ground down a little bit just so it looks a little nicer, and as you can see, got the fins ground down. We're done with this. I think I need to cut another piece off the frame and keep going. So I've been looking at this and cleaning some oil and just grease and stuff up. And it'll just kill me inside if I put all these nice new parts on it and just leave it all like this. And since I actually have a backup vehicle now, I'm just gonna take the time to clean this all up and try to throw some paint on it and just make it look a little better, because this just makes me want to throw up. Alrighty guys, we are on the third day of the Avalanche lift. I figured I would combine days 2 and 3 just because day 2 there wasn't like a lot of actual lift stuff going on. It was more just like cutting and grinding. Well, I guess part of the lift was in there, but we were getting the front ready. I had to go attend to something else last night, so I had to rush, get the primer on, so I kind of missed some explanations and stuff. So this section of the frame on both sides has now been coated underneath, and on this side I didn't get to the top. Probably could have gone a little further, but I figured the worst part was having the control arms off. Since those are off, and I could actually get to that stuff. So that's primered. You know, I wiped it down and everything. So now we just have to wait a full 24 hours, which will be here today around 4 o'clock. So once that time comes, we'll go ahead and get the top coat on, and after that, I don't know if we'll be able to get some of the front suspension on tonight or not. Maybe we can at least get the diff in, I'm not sure yet. But both sides are primered, waiting for top coat. In the meantime, we're gonna work on the rear axle. I just got the e-brake cables off of this one because they're kind of shot and my e-brake cables are in better shape. So I'm gonna put those ones on this one. So any of you who remember back to one of my videos, I think it was last year, I think it was like Chevy Avalanche brake nightmare. I had a whole bunch of issues with the e-brake hardware, and here we are, back again. The nightmare has happened all over again. So at least I know a little more now. This little bolt head was actually broken off before I even got started. So it's been like this. The e-brake shoe that was on here was just kind of like flopping back and forth, so there's nothing holding it in place. The retainer wasn't even here either, so I don't know if it just broke over time or if it was never put in, but I have to do the same thing I did with the last one that broke on this truck, and it was actually the same side too. Or no, it wasn't the same side, it was the lower one. Anyway, so you can see it's broken in there pretty good. It's not a very big, you can compare to my finger, it's a very small bolt. So I'm gonna try to, you know, tack a little bit on there, get a bolt on it, and try to back it out. I'm gonna go ahead and get at that. Once I get that out, then we can start pulling this axle out and start swapping everything over. Oh, on second thought, while I have this axle out, I could probably put some of the hardware on that. So maybe I'll do that, is try to get some of that stuff on. There's a track bar relocation bracket and shock mount relocation brackets, and I think that's it. There might be a couple other things, but I think that's the biggest thing. And then just putting the coils in. So once we get that stuff in, then we can put the axle in. You know, we don't have to do too much underneath. So that'll actually be nice. Just hooking the new e-brake cables up. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to extract this bolt and keep going. Well, I only filmed the first one because I knew this was going to be a very taxing process, and this one's just not going to work out. I'm not going to get it. So what I'm going to do is when I get the hardware off of my axle, I'm just going to weld it onto this one. And if I ever need to change it, I'm just going to have to cut it and grind it all down. That's just going to have to be what it's going to have to be. So enough of that, we're just going to start working on putting stuff on this axle. Alright, so I lied. I was looking through the instructions, and there's stuff saying about using factory hardware, which I completely forgot about. And some of that stuff I don't have off this axle. I do, but it's in a pile of bolts and I don't remember what's what. So I'm actually going to work on taking the axle out of this one, and then once I get the hardware off this, then I can start putting on this one. So let's get to work. Laura and I just running into all the fun stuff. So I don't have to take this spare out, but since I'm switching the axle, there's a brake line in there that would be so much easier to get to, and pretty much everything would be easier to get to if I had the spare out. Plus, in the end, I'm not going to be needing to use the spare anyway. So it was locked up, can't get it out, can't even get it down a little bit. Videos online saying about using channel locks and doing this and that, trying to unlock the upper mechanism. I just didn't have that option. There are two jaws that sit on the outside of this that hold the tire up. So cut that out and get it down. So I had a ratchet strap up on this side and had my jack up on this side so it wouldn't fall down while I'm cutting. Now I got the tire down and look at all that rust. That's awesome. Great. Yeah, I love this. Anyway, let's see if we can actually get to some of this lift. Rear axle finally out. I got somebody that wants to buy that. Hopefully he'll come over soon, get that out of my garage, try to recoup some of my money. So we were finally axle-less, and the truck's sitting pretty high right now just on the jack stands. That'd be so awesome if it actually sat this high. I don't think it's gonna be this high, probably a little lower, but still, like, it's pretty high. So if you haven't guessed by now, I'm videoing one side and then not videoing the other side because it's pretty much the same thing. There's like maybe a couple other things that are in the way, but just thought I'd put that out there. I was smart and took all the bolts off of the old axle, and as I removed them, put them in place on the new one, except for the shock bolts. Those are in the shocks. But I'm just about ready to start putting the new stuff on this before I put it up in. I'm actually a little late now for putting the top coat. Not late, but I could have done it like an hour ago just because this has been taking so long. I've been hitting like snag after snag with this so far today, and it finally felt good to get the old axle out. We're gonna start working on the new axle here in a second, and pretty much everything that was old has been removed. The only thing I haven't taken out yet is the torsion keys. So gonna cut those, drill those, something, gonna get them out somehow, cut them out. That is the only thing that needs to be removed. So we're finally to a point where we can start putting things on. So hopefully everything will go a little better now than it has. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a top coat on the front and then start getting to work on the axle. Alrighty guys, we are at the end of day 3. And it's actually 12:30, so it's into day 4, but we're gonna cut the video here anyway. So we got the rear pretty much done. Everything's connected. I still have to connect the drive shaft, but I still gotta torque everything down. It's a couple things. One thing was the hardware that's on the list and listed for these sway bars is like, one of the bolts is just a little off. It says for a 1/2 inch bolt, but it's really like an M12. So it's just a hair smaller. So I just have to get a couple more bolts. I might even have the bolts. I just haven't looked through my stuff yet. But it's all there. So one other thing is for this brake line relocation bracket. The one that's connected down at the diff is supposed to be the one you're supposed to use. And the one that's the upper part is like the stock one that you take off. My brake line didn't reach the relocation bracket. So I bolted both of them together. I don't know if that's what's intended, but that's what I'm doing so I can actually reach, and there's some actually a little bit of slack here now. And this is with the axle at full droop. So I think that's pretty good. My parking brake line is just like a little tight here. Again, this is at full droop, so I think we're good. Other than that, if I was just doing the lift and kept the axle I had before, it would have been so much easier. But since I was changing out the axle, it was a little more work than what's called for, which is fine. I'm getting 410s out of this, and the axles were free, so works out for me. I also did get new sway bar bushings. Those are a lot tighter, a lot better than what was before. So hopefully that'll be a nice improvement. I went ahead and I got the garage all cleaned up a little bit. We were just hitting lots of snags today, and I just had to take a break, clean everything, get my head back into it, and got some stuff done. So I'm glad we finally made some progress on this. Finally cleared some parts off the table, so that's nice. So all we have to do is the front now. I still need to get my torsion keys, but this truck is so tall right now. I have a feeling it's going to be even higher. The axle goes up a little more, but then we still have to get the tires on. So it's I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be able to get out the garage door now. That's an 8-foot door. I'm a little tired, but believe me, I'm super excited for this. So tomorrow we're going to start working on putting all the stuff in the front, and then the day after is when I actually get the torsion keys. Those come in. So hopefully that'll be about the time we get it all wrapped up. Look, there's gonna be a few more videos than I thought that I was gonna have. I just want to make sure I cover everything, and I'm doing a lot of extra stuff too. So that's, you know, that's not what goes into the lift, but that's just the stuff that I'm taking care of. Alrighty guys, so if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, follow along with the build. It's gonna be done here soon. Gonna look great. I can't wait. Been waiting so long to get this done, and it's finally happening. Alrighty guys, I think that's about it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.